I am Waldo County born and raised. Growing up, I was lucky. I had a family that supported me and believed that education was important. My dad was a school custodian, and my mother worked multiple part-time jobs in order to afford me to take part in after-school activities. It is because of them and some amazing teachers that I am up here today. It's first grade. Miss Blake is showing me with her patience that my speech impediment won't stop me from learning to read. Miss Spiegel is dancing enthusiastically around the classroom, showing me that I matter. It's my senior year of high school. My dad is currently dying of cancer, and everyone is treating me differently except for Miss Gussie. Miss Gussie is showing me with her high expectations and support that I can make it through and be successful. There are days that I don't believe it though. It's study hall and we're all sitting around talking about our plans for after graduation. We dream of having a better life, and we feel like we need to leave to make this happen. We need to get out of Frankfort, out of Waldo County, and in many cases, out of the state of Maine. For those of you that don't know, I now teach in the town right next to where I grew up, and I couldn't imagine being anywhere else. My dream changed, and I hope to do that for my students. 12 years later, we're in my third grade classroom during a Google Meet with a park ranger from Acadia National Park. And it's question and answer time, and my student raises their hand and says, "Wait, you can do that here in Maine? I thought cool stuff like that was far away. I want to do that." And yes, we continued to work on knowing the difference between a question and a statement, but it was that same sentiment of shock and surprise that took me back to that study hall so many years ago. I also hear this sentiment when coaching at a local university. I speak with my athletes and they talk about having to move to a bigger city or out of the state of Maine after graduation. Our job as educators, business members, and Mainers is to show them that they can have that dream and that they don't need to leave to find it. As of 2018, Maine had the most aging population, with 20.6% being over the age of 65. That is because we are losing some of this amazing generation. I like to say that this comes down to talking about engagement. I like to think about engagement in 3 tiers. First, we need to engage them with their learning. Second, we need to engage them with each other. And third, we need to engage them with the community. It is through this engagement that we will show them that their dreams can become reality. I like to say I have no shame when it comes to getting my students engaged with their learning. For example, I've worn a blow-up dinosaur costume as we learned about how fossils can teach us about the past. I've also wrote a rap about how we can use the 5 properties of multiplication as mathematicians. Now I know you're curious, so I'm going to give you just a couple of lines. I've got 5 properties, how about that? They help me to solve multiplication fast. First, get the identity property. Anything times 1 is a self, okay. I want to get my students excited about learning because I know for many of them, school is an escape just like it was for me. I want them to know that they are loved, cared for, and worth. This engagement also needs to happen at an individual level. I think back to a recent student I had that struggled with self-regulation, which led to conflict with his peers. After taking part in a book study on Help for Billy, I worked with my student teacher to create a coded system for him. This was a system which would allow him to know where his body and mind were at, and also different ways in which he could regulate. Where in previous lessons he may not have been able to complete them, using these codes and these breaks, he was able to come back and be successful. He progressed to being able to use these on his own, asking for breaks. But his true progress was shown the following year when he stopped by my room, and he said, "Miss Hoyt, this is my friend. He needs sneakers and I know you have some, so can he borrow them?" And of course I let him. The next tier of engagement is with each other. I'm a scientist at heart. I truly believe that having students learn through collaboration is key. I'm proud to say I was part of a state group through the RISE Center at the University of Maine that helped choose a curriculum in which students inquire, problem solve, and research. Through project-based learning, such as building a structure to prevent against natural disasters, students learn these skills. Science is an avenue for everyone to have a seat at the table and be able to converse. I truly believe in the power of teaching my students how to talk with one another. I teach them wait time or say things like, "I heard you say," or "I'd like to add." To get to know what each other is truly thinking. I've also planned and run professional development for teachers in my district around student talk, based off Sarah Michael's Talk Science Primer. in which shows teachers how students' learning can be increased through productive discourse. The last tier of engaging is that with the community. We have so much to be proud of in this tier. Over the past year and a half, education has gone so far beyond the typical four walls of a classroom. We've shared our homes, our pets, and more. This spring, I had my students take part in a virtual career day where they saw their family and community members at their job sites in Maine. These members shared what they did during the day, showed them all the cool tools that they use, but also showed them what they used that they learned in school. My students then went on to research about a job that they were interested about in the state of Maine. As a state, we've made some tremendous progress as well, such as the passing of LD 572, which helps middle school and high school students get the opportunities to learn about the workforce here in Maine. As I know you've also probably heard, we are one of the first states to offer free meals to our students. I saw the lifting of a burden and stigmatism in my community because of this. I'm a firm believer that we need to celebrate these accomplishments while also looking to the future. So what can we do to strengthen these tiers? As educators, we need to meet students with open hearts and ears, especially after such a challenging year. We need professional development around this, along with the support from our community to know that we did not lose this year. We learned so much, but we need to be given the space and the grace to talk with, but most importantly, listen to what our students have to say. It is through listening that we are going to hear their needs and be able to meet them. We also need to make science learning a priority. A recent study in 2019 showed that only 17% of K-3 students have science every day. We can't wait for older grades to happen. This is where we're going to teach the next generation of problem solvers. Through science, they are going to learn the communication and collaboration skills that they're going to use later on in the workforce here in Maine. We've also seen how the availability of high-speed internet connections are essential for our students. The pandemic made the inconsistencies of this transparent. There were many students that needed hotspots to try to even connect to their learning. We need to fix this to show that our students can be global citizens and live here in Maine. It is by building on our accomplishments and keeping this momentum going that we are going to show my peers, my current third graders, and future generations that they can have their dreams and that they don't need to leave Maine to find it. Thank you.